What's up? What do what it does. It's another Friday. How are you guys doing? How's everybody?
Great, Ovi.
Oh, good, man. How you doing?
Very good.
No, I'm fresh. Sammy, nice to see you.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
She's
Welcome
back.
back.
Lovely seeing you again.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So what we're talking about today, Ovi?
No, guys. Before I jump in that, guys.
Hold on a minute, man. You guys introduced Sam like that, guys. What's wrong with you, man?
I haven't finished. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. I was like, hold on, before we go straight into what we're talking about, guys. For you guys, you probably know one Charlie, MP in parts of down there, all these guys that are a bit boring. So we have one of our team members of 5Roundz coming back after a long, long time. She went hiding. Sam, she's in the house.
Hey, hi everyone. I didn't go hiding.
Yeah.
I had to go and get my man fresh and ready for, the conversations. So I'm back now.
She's back now, guys. You'll be seeing a lot of her. The only thing is that she kicks ass. She kicks ass. That's what you gotta know. She kicks ass. She kicks ass, and she's out here. She's about to burn it. She's about to burn it.
Thank you very much. Very warm welcome back. I really appreciate it.
Happy New Year as well. Happy New
Year as well. You're welcome, Sam. You're welcome, Sam.
So for those guys. For those that haven't seen Sam, guys, just go back to series 2. So that's the second series. She's in there throughout. All the 5 rounds we did for that series, she's in that one, guys. You get familiar with Sam and what she's about. You know what I mean? She doesn't take nonsense.
Not at all.
She kicks ass. She kicks ass, man.
I love how I now have a reputation of a dragon that's just able to burn people. Yeah. I don't like it. This is not true to me.
You kick ass. We're shivering. Anyway, guys, before we kick out the show, first of all, we want to say make sure you subscribe, like, and of course share. We want to thank all you guys who've taken us up to today, who are subscribing every single day, people who are sending us things and topics that we want to talk about. We really appreciate, and of course, you are the most important part of this whole podcast. That's why we do this. 5Roundz wouldn't be there without you guys. You know what I mean? So we thank you for that. You know what I mean? As you can see today, we've got something there we want to talk about. I want to understand. I want to understand because I've got a side of it, and probably everybody here has got a side of it that they want to say about. Right? It end up being a debate because everybody's got their own kind of thoughts about it. As it says yourself, you can see it is about the question is political correctness the end of free speech?
What do you mean?
Right? So basically what we mean in this is first of all, the way I would go about it is personally how I define political correctness, right? What tell you? Why you love I know. I even felt it. I felt it myself. I felt it. Guys, the way I can define it. Probably any of you guys have got a different definition about it. The way I define it myself when I hear political correctness is it's expressing yourself upon something without offending another person, right? So either when you're using words, or probably as well if you're let's say not only words, but let's say if you are acting or if you are doing something, as much as when you do it, it doesn't offend the other person, right? And I think it's only there now. I think back in the days, there wasn't something like political correctness. Everybody could just say whatever they want to say, whatever they want to do. But now it's existing for the simple fact of protecting other people's feelings.
Well, it was there. It was there back in the day. It's just that now it's been elevated with the tools we have, basically. With everything.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes.
No, personally to me, I didn't see it. And recently, it's when I've seen it so much big about it, and I'm like, okay, all right, what's happening? Like I don't know if anybody here would have a different definition of how they understand it.
Well, give it to Sam.
Sam, go on, Sam.
I could see Sam going.
Sam was itching. Sam was like, "Yeah, what you talking about?"
Well, I think my first instinct is to ask whether anyone else here feels like the term political correctness has some negative connotation to it, because to me, weirdly enough, because it's not supposed to be a bad thing, being sensitive about other people's emotions and experiences in life, I think this should be something really good and positive. But to me, when I hear when I hear people talking about being politically correct, it's automatically negative. It means being overly cautious when you don't necessarily need to be. So I wonder if it's just me, or if everyone has that little bit of, cringe when they hear the word, although it's not supposed to be something bad.
You know what? That's actually it's a good point. On the political correctness part, I think it's what it's associated with. I think the two words, the phrase itself, is not anything harmful. It's political correctness, But I guess what's behind it, what has happened for us to realize what it is, why it's made it apparent, like why it's always talked about, what's caused people to say, what is this political correctness, is what is making us think this is, oh man, it might be something negative. In fact, when I was talking to Ovi about it before we came on, Ovi was thinking about it as if it's something that tells you, oh, you're being negative or whatever it is. It's just, I think it's doing the right thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, or doing the right thing by everyone, basically.
Yeah.
Can I? No, sorry.
Go on.
I was listening, and I think the way Sammy put it there, it's just, I think it's just taking the negative and just spinning it around and making sure that the person that's saying the certain word really understands that it's not fair, and they have to be fair in that conversation.
Yeah.
That was the little bit that I wanted to. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, Sam. Honestly,
Sam,
keep talking. Keep
talking.
Sam, you want to talk,
man.
Okay. I just wanted to say, the more I thought about it, I think that the thing that makes me uncomfortable in this is the word political, because political is associated with fakeness, or saying things for the sake of saying it. Meaning that people who are being politically correct, for example, would just say the right thing, the non-racist thing, the non-sexist thing, without actually believing what's behind it. So I think the word that's problematic here is political.
Okay,
if
wait
it
a
was
minute.
Social correctness, maybe it might be better.
Wait a minute, Sam.
True.
Sam, you have insulted me. So if I'm a politician, you're saying I'm fake. Is that what you're saying?
Got it. Yes, Sam. Yeah. That one. Yeah. What you get? No, that one. You get it. Forget about it. If you don't get it, forget about it.
If you're a politician, you are trained to say things in a way that appeals to people without necessarily being true.
So people that apply PC, political correctness, are only applying the rules, right? They're not really going with their kind of like numb, like they're not going with their nature in that situation, is it?
I feel like, there's a part of this. Some of the people do it just because, it's the role. You cannot be racist. So, okay, let me say the correct thing, even though when I'm back in my house, if I see a black child, I'm just going to chase him.
That's the conversation. That's the conversation I've picked up. That's the conversation I've picked up with a couple of friends and, a couple of people. They say, you know what, if I wanted a promotion, but I couldn't say that, they're not giving me the promotion because then I'm black, because that would have been like pulling out a race card. So that person doesn't want to say that, so they just walk away from it. If the manager says, I'm not going to give you the promotion, or we don't feel like you're fit for this promotion, the person just stays quiet, because then if they start that, it kind of starts mixing up things altogether. So it's just they want to stay in the right booth without, being kicked out or, starting up something else different.
Okay. Before Ovi carries on, I'm just gonna go into the comments. So Vanessa says, "Hi Sam, it's nice to have you back on."
Thank you, Vanessa.
And then she goes, "Yes, Ovi, for it."
Hey, Lord. I was about to say something. For the rest of the show, I'm going to call it PC. I like that.
Just go PC.
Yeah, call it PC, God, man.
There's too many L's and R's in this business. I don't like that.
It's an African thing, man.
Yeah, I don't like that. There's too many L's and R's in this business.
Big up to you, True City fan.
We got Patrick, True City fan, and then we got him saying, "Welcome back, Sam. A bit of balance on the panel." We've got Vanessa saying, "Look, political correctness was there, Ovi. Was there before, Ovi." I think that's what she's saying. It's just that now with technology, everyone has a platform and a voice. Yeah, I think I agree with that, because everyone talks about it now. Information is readily available, so it's easier. Ovi, please take us on.
Before I go on to the next question, real quick, still as it's defined, I want to understand, right, guys? Like, I tried in any kind of aspect to understand it, right? How who makes the rules? How does it work? I want to know if somebody here knows how does it work that, okay, this is politically right or this is politically wrong? Who is determining, who is making the rules to say this is right, this is wrong?
I'll tell you who is. Everyone who feels offended, basically. Everyone who feels offended is telling you that what you're doing is wrong. But then I think for me, it starts with one and then it goes on to many. So if I feel like a certain word is offensive or somebody else says the same thing, then it gains a voice. So, if whatever you said is offensive towards my community or my experience, and it can be derived as hate speech, then as a community, we come together and say, okay, I think what that guy said is wrong. We need to speak about this because people don't know that it's wrong, if that makes sense. So then they're correcting someone from saying something.
But then does that always come with good intent? Like, some people
Well, did I say? I didn't say. I'm just explaining the question. Well, we got a super chat from True City fan. It says, so to be politically correct, we have to keep our actual thoughts at bay. Oh,
right.
No, Patrick, no. True City fan, no. We don't have to keep our actual thoughts at bay, but we have to respect others when we speak. We have to, we have to respect groups, respect whatever it is. The terms that you use, maybe you used to use then, might not be the terms you use now. I'll give you an example, actually. In America, you can't call people like us black. You can't say that's a black person. You have to say they are African American. It's official in America. That's the ethnic group. Here in the UK, you're either black British, black African, black whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? So that got corrected in the US, for example. So Patrick, if you went to the US and you wanted to talk about another black person, you can't say black person. You've got to say African American, basically.
Iron that. Like this is why I brought this up, because like there's just rules on everything now. They're just turning everything into anything. Whatever you feel like, okay, if somebody wakes up today and say, I think that offends me, okay?
Yeah.
The biggest point, okay, personally, the biggest point, like if I moving on to the next question, the biggest point that I actually looked at this, right, is the way of social life, first of all, which is very important, has changed because of political correctness. Entertainment, to me, has gone from high to right. And now, give me a space. I wanna explain something before
let me land.
Yeah, I want to explain something. Okay, entertainment. When we say entertainment, when it comes to comedians, when it comes to movies, when it comes to this, I'll give an example. We all have seen The Simpsons. Yeah. For example, I'm going to say this. In The Simpsons, there's a guy that owns a shop, right? I don't know if you remember him. It's called Apu.
Yeah.
Yeah? This guy is voiced by Hank Azaria, right? This guy is white, okay? He was forced to pull out of the show because of people criticizing about the character in the cartoon, okay? Because of he's a pure, like they said.
So his ethnicity is not in line with the character, is it?
With the character, you know what I mean? And because the way he was acting there, he was like proper Indian who owns the shop and always trying to squeeze a few penny out of everybody who comes into the shop.
Yeah.
which is what Apu does. But personally, if I come, like, where I come from, if you've got a shop in town where it's owned by an Indian, if you go in there, that's what's going to happen. You know, he's going to try and,
pinch a bit,
sell you a couple of things. If you're gonna buy a shoe, he's gonna buy this, buy that, but that's what he does. And he is forced to pull out because they said no, he's acting a role that he's not, which is wrong. Okay, to me, with entertainment, the question that I asked in myself, I'm like, this is rolling entertainment. I want to ask. I'll start with MP, then we'll go to Sammy. Do you think this is affecting entertainment?
Do I think it's affecting entertainment? I think there's
two sides.
The value of it. I think there is a bit of a pinch to the value of it, because then if we're going to pick every character to be from that certain ethnicity or gender or race or whatever and stuff like that, that would actually take us time to find that, perfect character that fits in with that language, that fits in with that, performance and everything. So if you're going to be looking for that perfect person that fits in all of that, character that you want to portray in whatever movie, whatever, stage, that will be a very difficult thing to do. And you have to allow space for some other people to fit in, because if we want to always, let's say, hire certain people for that role, we're not going to specify it, because then it will be discriminating other people to actually apply for that role as well, So there's a lot of discussion to it as well. So I would say it's pinching the value of it, because some people would have, done better, and some that character would have maintained that role. And we don't know what's coming next,
They said they're probably just gonna scrap Apu out of the whole show. Sammy, what do you think?
Yes.
I'm
gonna go. I'm gonna go the other way, because I think it has an impact on the entertainment industry and how things are produced, but I think this impact is largely positive. Why? Because people think more about what they put in their show, how they do them before producing them and doing them. When it comes to acting, especially voice acting, the example that you gave with The Simpsons, to me, it's right, because there are so many actors or people from the entertainment industry that are of Indian backgrounds who wouldn't have to fake that accent, and who wouldn't have the historical background of white people saying that Indian people are always trying to scam you. They wouldn't have that background attached to them. So let's say if we take, I don't know, it's like, when you're singing a song and a white person says the N word, you feel offended because they're not black and it's not their place to say that. So I'm able to say, for example, if I don't know, Ivorians are said to be, I don't know, cheats, I'm able to say, I'm okay with me saying that my people are cheats, but someone else saying that is not okay.
Yeah,
it's like you insulting your children, or you wouldn't be okay with anyone else doing that, especially when there's someone who has the legitimacy to represent that role. Is there. So it doesn't make sense to me to cast a white person to portray an Asian person, especially if the character is supposed to be stereotypes. If it's an Asian person that has like a normal voice, then it's just, your guy who grew up in England or in America and is completely, is an American. He blends in with the way he speaks and everything. I don't care who voices it. But if it's someone who's there to portray stereotypes, it cannot be white people, because of the historical background that lies within it, I think. And then
Ooh,
Yeah,
fire.
if you about MP's point on, you know, taking longer time, I don't think it's necessarily true, because so many artists of colors struggle to find roles, or they get, you know, placed in the same roles. If you're a black man, dark skin, you're going to play the gangster in the movie. You can never be the Leonardo DiCaprio in his, you know what I mean? So there are so many options. More and more people get to interested in working in the entertainment industry. So I think it wouldn't be an issue of finding, you know, people to fill those spots.
You know, like what screams out is let's say, for example, that's the new thing that's coming out. Idris Elba playing James Bond.
I don't like that.
That's something that people are screaming. But
I don't like that.
Why don't you like it?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, guys, it's gonna sound like a bit of a joke, right? But okay, you've all watched James Bond ever since. Okay, so tell me this. Okay, let's be honest, guys. Tell me this, all right? James Bond is a spy, right? This is a spy that can go to a big party where there's someone that is trying to get information, right? And it'll be a big party where there are rich people, and James Bond can blend in. James Bond is gonna blend in, right?
So what are you saying? What are you implying? What are you implying?
Okay, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, let him laugh.
Ready to roast. Ready to roast.
What I'm trying to say is, if I pulled up at a party like that in a tuxedo, where there's all white Russians, everybody's gonna be like, okay, who the hell is that? Okay, first of all, James Bond has been exposed. Okay, he's been exposed. James Bond, when he's running in the streets, he can hide. He can hide, blend in. But come on, you know, I know it sounds.
Hold on a minute. Let me just bring you back to I think let's bring you back to what we're talking about here. We're talking about political correctness, all right? It's not necessarily about racial identity. It's about expression, isn't it? So I know we went into this because of Sam's point, where she was saying, look, this will open up avenues. So, for example, in the roles that, you know, those somebody who was not of Asian descent playing a cool's role, you know, it might not be good for people that are Asian, because that person is trying to express a culture that he's never experienced or she's never experienced, or they don't know. So it could end up offensive, because they might say something that they feel is not offensive, but is offensive to the community. Now, coming back to what you said about James Bond and all that stuff, look, I'll just quickly say this, you know, Triple X, that movie that had Vin Diesel and then it had Ice Cube after that, you know, you can easily change that role to fit whatever race. So this business about blending in and what is the norm, what's not the norm. I mean, guys, these guys write these books. Writers write books. They can change the narrative. You know, if the narrative is suiting a white person, they can change it to suit a black person as well. So that's not, for me, that's not a good argument.
And can I just add as well?
Go on, Sam. Add.
James Bond's example is not a good one because it's a fictional character, which means it can look however we want it. It could be green with fucking 3 hands. Sorry for swearing, but no. He could look anyway. I think what's important in the image of James Bond, for example, is to be representative of Britain. And today you can find spies that are black. It's not going to be a problem.
True story.
So,
okay. Before we move on, staying on entertainment, I'll give you like another example, real quick, guys. Another example. For example, for instance, like you've seen now, they're saying, okay, it came out there. I was reading that, you know, certain, let's say, acts should be acted by, like the same thing of Apu, as we're saying, should be an Indian and Asian person. So someone that is, I don't know, be in the LGBTQ plus community. So if there's going to be a scene of someone that is with a guy is with another guy, they should make sure that they're actually that in real life. Or an actor should not come and act that role. Like in the entertainment section, to me, I find that like, okay, that's what you mean. Like, you know, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like a quick example I could give is like Neil Patrick Harris. You've all watched How I Met Your Mother, right? Mm-hmm. He is married, right? And he actually has a child. but he's gay. And I say gay is the right word? Is that all right?
Yes.
He's gay, yeah? He's gay in real life. How come he acted a person that always sleeps with women around?
A straight person. So yes, this guy person. He did act as a guy who is straight, who can sleep with other people. My argument to that, we're gonna, again, last week we spoke about what was it, sexual orientation, and also we spoke about gender identity a little bit. I think it's safe to say we established that sexual orientation is not something that is discovered, or not discovered. It's not something that you have at birth, and it's also not something that's permanent. Today you can be gay, tomorrow you can be bi, you can swing however ways. You know what I mean? So I think that part, is very different to saying, look, this guy is white, he's going to go play a black role. I think it's very different. Okay, he's gay, but has he been gay all his life? We don't know that. We don't. But has he felt love between two different entities? What is that's my argument anyway. But yes, Sam,
I have another argument, which is that political correctness kind of applies to minorities rather than the other way around.
Yes.
So it's okay for a gay man who feels comfortable with it. Now that the political correctness will now come from, whether he's comfortable playing a straight role. If he's not okay with that, they're not going to they're not even going to offer him if he ever says, but How I Met Your Mother started ages ago. And there weren't that many. I mean, I don't know if he was completely out, if people knew that he was gay at that time. I have no idea, but it could be a factor. And because it's a minority playing a normal role, it's easier than the other way around. Imagine a straight man going to play a gay character. That would be a bit more difficult for the actor, maybe, but also for the representation, again, of the people from that community who surely have actors who can step up to that role. So, I think the other way around works better than making sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but why does it have to apply to the minority alone? Because it's possible that the minority could be politically incorrect. My understanding is this term is not just against the majority. It could be against the minority. I mean, what if you as a minority are preaching hate speech, towards a majority? It doesn't matter if they are a majority, but you're preaching hate speech, right? So if you're preaching hate speech, a way to curb that is political correctness. Why shouldn't it apply to you? So what I'm trying to say is, if you're saying kill all the straight people, why should that be okay?
I mean, it shouldn't be okay, and I don't think it is okay. I think what I mean is, I'm not saying that it doesn't apply the other way. I'm saying it works most of the time. It works the other way. It's always a disadvantaged group that gets offended by something, and that would, socially be like, okay, there are reasons why this is offensive, historical reasons, social reasons, cultural reasons why this is offensive. This is why you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
The other way around rarely happens. And if it does, because you do see, you see a lot of women saying kill all men, sometimes as a joke, sometimes not.
Women say men are trash. I'm offended.
We say that, but actually, is it going to affect the way that majority lives their lives? Is it going to, when we say that, do men go in their house and like cry about it? And they're like, oh, this woman told me I was trash today. Or, on the internet, someone said that. I think maybe people could get offended by that. But there's also not the again, historical and cultural and social background to push it to the level of political correctness. And I'm coming back to Ovi's question about who decides. I feel like there's the decision of the group that's marginalized, but there's also, you have to have justifications and reasons for that. I cannot wake up tomorrow and say pink is a dirty color, let's just cancel pink and people are going to follow me, So So,
but
yeah.
let's just be honest. You know, the way society works is we're all entitled to, you know, our own, you know, opinion and stuff, right? And people are also entitled to actually disagree or agree to our opinions. And that's where society does not really glue up all these conversations, because it's really uncomfortable to have, you know, PC conversations. And then you find yourself, you say, who do I, you know, give in to this, discussion? Because then every day we have, you know, people being offended over some certain words are being changed in like dictionaries and all of that stuff. The language is just so vast that we can't catch up with all of it. It depends on where you are in the parts of the world to actually be able to, you know, be able to have that empathy and reflect on, you know, someone else's side.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I look, just coming back to what you said, Sam. I'm not saying I disagree that. Well, I'm not saying that, you know, why is it just catered towards minorities, or why should it be catered towards minorities? I think the reason political correctness came is because of the minority. You know, it's something that, you know, is there to help the minority. I think that's the way to put it. But I think it can help everyone. I think it can be a guide for everyone. You know, at some point the minority might become the majority. You know, so the same thing you will need. I don't know what you're thinking. But you know. Okay, so I'm just gonna get in the comments real quick. So Vanessa says, "Whoa, Ov, are you trying to say that black people wouldn't blend into a James Bond role?" And then we got True City fan saying, "You know, this is going to be good. Please tell us, Ovi." This is Ovi in the mud. Oh my goodness! All right, forget that comment.
Good. No, I want to answer Vanessa. I just want to answer you, Vanessa. When I say he wouldn't blend into James Bond, I mean like the movie. If we're chasing James Bond and he's the only black person in Russia, it's gonna be so easy. Not that there's no black.
Black people in Russia.
No, listen, don't get me wrong. Not that there's no black people in Russia, but like James, I don't know how. Okay, guys, let's wait and see what they're gonna write.
I think I get what you mean.
Because if James Bond goes blending, they'll be like, there he is. There he is. You know what I mean?
If you don't get it, forget it. Guys, that's where the language of what Ovi just said there is where the language that's coming in just recent is I don't see color. That's the language that's coming in now.
Yeah,
so how do you handle that kind of language?
How is that related? How is that related to this? This is a visual expression. It's like literally saying, look, that person is distinguishable in a crowd.
Yes, in the crowd. In a crowd of white Russians.
That person, he sticks out like a sore thumb. That's what Ovi is trying to say. But,
that's what I'm trying to say.
But I think you can back that up. You can back that up in so many ways.
Because that makes sense again. If he pulls out with an Aston Martin at a party trying to go get information, like what are the chances he's gonna like? They're gonna be like,
okay, all right. Let's not get into how James Bond is gonna hide in Russia if he was.
Listen. Okay. Anyway, guys, as guys, you know, you're in the middle of the show, as you said, guys. This is 5 rounds. The biggest thing I always say, guys, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Of course, you know that's the most important part. And as we always do every Friday, we have a show. There's loads of content on our 5Roundz YouTube page there that you can take a look at. Just search it, and you're gonna love it. You'll find something that you probably relate to, you know. And of course, tomorrow, as we always do, we have Instagram at 8 to 9, where we get a little saucy, you know.
We just need to finish this first, though. Yeah,
I know. And then you know yourself as well. From there, 9 to whenever, until your mama calls you home, then we got the Twitter space. So join us, you know yourself. So anyway, I go back to the third question, guys, that I want to ask. As the way you're saying this, to me, it's not that there's a police station where they only look at, you're not politically correct. So the way everyone is coming out with, the way I understand it now, it's people. Okay, I'll give a quick example. Because I love comedy. Comedy is my favorite thing. I take it to heart. One of my favorite comedians, like the likes of David Chappelle, Kevin Hart, David Chappelle, people went on a rant trying to cancel him, okay, because of his jokes and what he says. I understand certain people be offended, but people also don't look on the other side, okay? We talked about entertainment value being taken away. There was a time when you watch a movie or you watch a stand-up comedy and they make a joke about someone or something, and people laugh about it and forget about it. But now you make a joke and, oh no, he should be cancelled. Okay, this is a joke. That's the whole point of the stand-up comedy. It's a joke. You know what I mean? It's jokes. So, I'm thinking like, all right, now I think people right now, there's too much power. That's one thing I would ask. The first question that I'd ask people, do you think people have too much power when it comes to canceling culture, when it comes to cancel culture right now? All right.
Do I think people have too much power? Before I answer that, hello Edna. Edna's in the building. What's going on?
What's up, Edna? What it does.
So the question here is, do people have too much power when it comes to cancel culture? In some elements, yes, I think in some elements, but also in some elements, no. For example, the Dave Chappelle example is the best one. He said something very controversial, something that triggered a community, of course, and the community rose to try and say, look, man, this guy is against us. The things that were coming out about him, he even addressed it and said the media are taking this and elevating it, because he didn't blame the community that felt offended. He said the media are taking whatever they feel is the right narrative for them to make it look bad. So they tried to make him look bad. They tried to get him canceled. Of course, the movement started from the people, but the media took it. So I don't know if the power lies in the media or the power lies in the people. But then for those things to come to light, obviously social media has to play a part. So this is where people come in, So this is where people come in. People have to talk about it. So look, in that case, did they have power? No, because Dave Chappelle is still doing his thing. He hasn't been cancelled, has he? But my argument is, if today somebody goes on the media, whatever it is, says something that's politically incorrect and loses their job, right? And the company comes out and says, oh no, this was against our company policy and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. But then this company didn't even write it in their policy, right? It wasn't there. But because a lot of people have come out and said, no, but I don't like it. What he said, we don't like it. And their ratings are going down. Their value is going down. And they think, oh, you know what? Let's just get rid of the problem. Let's make the easy decision, get rid of the problem. In that sense, the power has been handed to the people. Now, of course, people can, to have this false sense of, I guess, power. There are people who do it for the right reasons, and there are people who would do it just to cancel someone. I don't like who you are. I don't like what you stand for, and I don't like what you say. And I feel like it offends my community, and I feel like me and 10 other guys don't like it, and we're gonna go on social media and cancel you. So I do feel like in certain aspects it might be too much power for people, because you can never give people too much power. This is why we have governments and have policies and all these things. I feel like there has to be a line. Yeah, this is wrong. Yeah, I'm offended. All right, let's come to a decision. Then everybody follows from there. If we keep going down this route, I guess maybe am I saying too much? Is it too much? We're gonna
come on. No. Come on.
If we keep going down this route of let's cancel this person because I feel it's not right, let's cancel that because I feel like it'll reach a point where even crossing the road is going to be a problem.
Yeah, we ain't gonna have anything
that way. That's what I feel like, because right now we're in this area of realizing what's wrong, or what I feel like is offending me and whatnot. Just the other week, I said something and I had to be corrected on it, because for me, that was the right thing to say. But now it's offensive. I had to go and read up on this word that I said, and I found that even the people who are offended are like, well, for me, it's not offensive. I've been calling myself this a long time. And then somebody else says, oh, actually, it's offensive to me. And then everybody else goes, okay, do you know what? Let's make it offensive. So I think there has to be a line. we have to draw a line. Okay, this is offensive. We're going to make it offensive. This is not offensive. We're not going to make it offensive. At the end of the day, someone's not going to be happy about something. At this point in time, probably somebody doesn't like the fact that we're doing something on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
that's true. That's
or
true.
saying something on YouTube. Anyway, that's my point. That's what I think. That's what I think.
What about you there, Sammy? What's up? What you think, Sammy? What you think before LP lands it down? And I want you, when you're answering, Sammy, not only do you answer, do you think people have too much power, but as well add in, do you think it's the social media who have just escalated all this bizarre movement? You know what I
mean? So I think I'm very close to what Wantali is saying, because it's a two weights, two measures kind of thing. There's an impact that can be very negative on people's lives, as you said, with people losing their jobs and companies just doing some correctness washing. They pretend that they have this in their policy and it's not the case, just to stop their value decreasing or whatever issues they're having. But at the same time, I feel like this is a power that's needed, because that's how you get a real sense of what the issues of the day and age are. If and I also think it's a way it divides in a sense, but for the right reasons. So if you take the example of Dave Chappelle, it now divided his audience between people who think their identity or the words that he used that was problematic is more important than the entertainment that he provides. And there are the people who are like, okay, I'm part of that community. This word may have been offensive, but I'm able to take it in the context of a joke. Everyone reacts differently, and it's normal. So to me, I feel like the power to cancel is now finding its middle ground. It's no longer someone says cancel it and then he's canceled and that's it and there's nothing else to do about it. There's also the other side of, like, you've been saying canceling for ages, and then he's really, really bad and nothing has happened. And then there's the other side of someone has done, he broke a nail or something and then he's canceled. So now we're getting to the middle ground of, this person has done something, let's cancel him. And then you have the people who are like, you know what, I don't really care about this. I don't think this is that bad. I don't think it's gonna hurt anybody really, or like physically or anything. There's 10 people saying it's bad. Let me just stick with my thing. I feel like there's a bit of call of the majority in as well, because as you said, if there's 10 people complaining about something, maybe depending on their level of power, it might have an impact of their power or influence. It might have an impact. But I feel like people are self-regulating right now. It's not because X said, let's cancel him, that I'm just going to cancel him without going and doing my research and seeing what's the actual problem and whether I, according to my beliefs and my values and all the things I believe in, if I believe this is correct, I'm just going to continue following and supporting whoever that person is. And if I think it's really wrong and it's hurting people, I'm just going to, step out. Now, to the side of media, I agree with you, Antali, when you said that the media blows everything out of proportion. But I think we often forget that in social media, there's the word media. Social media is a media. Yeah. So, it's very difficult to separate both. There's this, I don't know how to qualify it, but, things going viral. Things are going viral now. And the fact that they are viral means that there's more awareness that is brought onto an issue or something that someone said that could bring them to being cancelled. But the action of being cancelled is no longer dictated by them, if that makes sense. Tomorrow, if the Sun says, the Sun has been writing articles about Meghan Markle being cancelled for ages, and I haven't stopped liking her just because they've said it. We have to remember that media, if you literally translate media from its original word, which I think is Greek, if you literally translate it, it means a mean. It's a mean to an end. So if you only take it as this, technically it doesn't have that much. So yeah, I was thinking about a whole lot of things, but that's what I can get out now.
Perfect.
You explained it so good.
That's very good, man. Before, let me just get into the comments. I've got people in the comments here. So Edna said, look, too much power corrupts everything. And then we've got True City fans saying, look, people having power is good. We keep each other in check. I think that's supporting your point, Sam. And then obviously we've got Edna again saying, Sam, well explained. We've got True City fans saying Wantali was in the mud last week. Glad you educated yourself. And this is the important thing, man. We got to educate ourselves. We're not experts. We're here to learn, man. Absolutely. So then True City fan says, look, canceling now has a reason. Maybe as people have noticed some people have agendas. Yeah, that's a good point. And then he goes on to say, an actress from Black Panther made a comment about vaccines and people wanted her to be cancelled. What's the backstory behind that? Does anyone know?
It's Letitia Wright. Yeah. She's it's because of her religion, I think. Okay. I don't know if he's talking about Letitia Wright, but she's the one who, for religious reasons. She's the one for religious reasons she doesn't want to get vaccinated, and people cannot cancel her for that because it's her personal choice. She's not telling people, go and don't get vaccinated because X, Y, and Z. It's just her beliefs. And I think a lot of people, made their decision because you don't know about it clearly. So it's not, she hasn't been
doesn't bother me. Bother me. You know what I mean? So there you go. No, absolutely. It's freedom of speech, you see?
That is where it cuts down.
It's freedom of
speech.
To
an extent, yeah. All right.
Let's not get into it before Bojo comes for us,
Unreal. See, on my end, I was just gonna say just a few words. Like, I think about social media and the cancel culture and stuff like that. I think it gets a bit deep. It gets a bit deep because then there's some people with their, malice intent of, there's a cult. People just want to cancel people for their own selfish reasons. They don't even know what they're going to do after that. They believe lies that are put on, or they believe something that's not real. It's either true or not. So while they're doing that, some people fall short because then they start believing the lies, or some people realize that, okay, these are lies. We need to move on to the next thing. That's when they realize that, okay, this comment was offensive at this extent, and then after that, it wasn't much. This person is with us, This person is not against us. This person is with us. So we have to reason in that situation to say, yes, that person spoke about this, but then they corrected themselves in that conversation. A short clip would put you in a big mess. For people that didn't watch the full clip, they'll just take that short clip and put it online. Goes viral. Everybody's gonna go crazy. But if you watch the full clip, you realize that, okay, whoever was talking about this was trying to, pull out a point, but then we didn't watch the other part. The person that had that intent of we have to cancel this person, that's the person that you have to think about to say, how is social media working? Are you really going to depth to understand what's being put out there for you to understand? Yeah,
I think that's the point that Sam just made, the self-appropriation point. It was a point you made on that one. No, you're right about that. It's about self-education.
Yeah.
Ovi, what is the last question?
The last question, guys, is pretty much straightforward. And it's a two-way question. I want a yes and no, and then I want you to answer the last part in the quickest, smallest way you can. I'm going to start with you, MP.
Yes, are you going to cancel us? No, are you not going to cancel us? Okay, all right.
No, go on. The question, first question, I want a yes or no answer straight away, okay? And then I'm going to ask you the next question. The question is, as it is on the topic, is political correctness the end of free speech?
The answer is. I'm trying to think about this. The answer is yes and no.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, I don't know. You can't sit on the fence. What is this? I'm trying to like this guy. Like last week, he's trying to be safe.
I'll say no. I'll say no.
No, it's not the end of free speech. So
yeah.
This explain. So if okay, so in that situation anyway, yeah? Okay, you said no, it's not the end of free speech. Okay, so if free speech today was removed, what do you think would be the implications?
I think we would start protesting about the rules that have been put in place, because then now PC will become the rules to say you can't say certain things, because then you don't have that free speech. Say that.
Yeah, but you won't be able to protest anymore, because protesting is free speech.
Exactly.
You see, that's a very good point. That's the point. That's the point. Where the power comes in is the people are the government. The people will always be there to protest on certain things that put a limitation to their freedom. So that's where it comes in. You cannot stop a human being from protesting, even if you put that rule to say you cannot protest because of this. A certain person will always go out there to say something, because they will say, I am human and I have rights and I have this and I have that. You know?
But does that not contradict what you just said, though? Because you
said... it does, but in a way, it's just that.
Boom!
That's a good one.
Obi got you well there. Okay. Let's move it on.
Yeah. Let's move it out. Sammy.
Yes
or no? Is political correctness the end of free speech?
No. Plain and simple. I had my answer very clear. No.
Yeah. No. Okay. So in your point, okay. Do you think if they just said, okay, no more free speech, right? Would there be any implications to your personal view? Do you think?
I think that if there is no longer free speech, first of all, I cannot imagine that. I don't think it's something that's literally really possible. But even if they wrote on paper that we remove your free speech rights, because that's what we're talking about here.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's the difference. We remove your free speech rights, they would have to replace it with something else.
We'll run away to the mountains.
They will have to. They cannot, because otherwise it would be like an empty law space. They need to put something else. And if we're talking about free speech in general, as in not just the rights, it's impossible to contain it, because free speech exists within your house, within every conversations that you have at home, at work. It's just the ability to speak really is free speech. It's just saying what's in your head, and no one can control that.
Do you realize that because that free speech is now being translated to be like you're politically incorrect?
Because that's the thing. You see political correctness as an absolute. It's not an absolute.
Yeah.
I think it's something that's very useful to kind of make people accountable and push people, kind of force people to educate themselves before they speak. And I think it's just a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. But people need, again, with everything, you need to find the right measure, which is when you hear something, when you hear about someone getting cancelled, don't just take what's written for face value. Go and do your research and then make your own informed decision. You're not a sheep. You don't have to follow whatever, I don't know, the Sun or Facebook or your Facebook guru, or even, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to offend people, but even what your pastor says, because everyone who's talking is human, has values, has biases. But it's true. It is true. There you go.
You have to burn the pastors, they say.
This is me. Not just the pastors.
You have to burn the pastors.
Any religious leaders, really. Any people who have a big following,
Oh, Patrick, that was true.
Yeah, anyone who has a big following, basically, you don't just follow them because you have your free mind, free will, and that's how you make free speech work. Because otherwise, you're just following people. Thankfully, you don't pay a membership.
It's
True City, for those that are listening in, Sam, True City fans comment says Sam's membership at the church will be cancelled. We also have Edna saying, exactly, we're humans. We don't know anything, we research everything. She says, also, remember the audience is different. Things said are always received differently by different audiences of humans.
True.
I
agree with that one, Ed.
Very good point there. That's a very good point. We're going to give you an air horn.
All right.
Yeah.
How about you? How about you, Untitled?
I think
before I wrap it up.
To be honest, everyone said a lot. They've said a lot. They said the right things and whatever. To be honest, I was like MP. I was sitting on the fence, but I've realized that, look, political correctness came from free speech. It came from somebody saying, look, I don't appreciate what this person is saying. It's somebody exercising their right to say how they feel, without offending someone. So I think it's not the end of free speech. It's like she's already said, it's something that will help us express ourselves better. So it's not the end. It's not saying that don't say anything. It's saying don't offend people. That's what it's saying. So in a nutshell, it's not the end of free speech. That's what
we're gonna get better. We're gonna get better. Yeah.
Our parents have always said that. It's just don't be rude. Really, that's why.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude. You guys have educated me on that point, and I understand. Listen, I understand where you come from.
And what's your answer?
My answer is yes, it is. Yes, it is. And yes, it is. Because I take it in a different concept, guys. I'm not saying in the concept where I'm just going to go out there and start saying stuff in the streets. But I'm worried on the side where you could love for things like that in entertainment. You could see things like that and everything. People say certain things. Listen, I can come to you and say, for example, one time go outside, and I come to you, one time get the fuck out. You know what I mean? There's two things. One is go outside. I'm telling you to go outside and say, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? That's a bit more violent than get the fuck out, because I put it in that context. But these free ships, the way I'm trying to say it is when people are doing it in entertainment and everybody is going mad. That's my point is the entertainment side, guys. Okay. That's why I kind of feel like
the funny thing is, Ovi, I know what you're saying, but there was actually a comedian who made a statement, like in a sense, he made a joke about somebody who was broke or something like that, and he put it in a way that you said that little B word is broke, and somebody said, look, but I know you don't call women this B word. Why are you doing it in your jokes? You know what I mean? And the person turned around and said a different word and said, you know what, it's still a funny joke. I don't have to say that word, so it's what you're used to. Maybe it's what you're used to. You feel like a joke has to be funny when somebody curses. But again, you got to think about the creativity. I think a creative comedian should say something without cursing. That's what I think. Why do they have to curse to be funny? So I think, look, political correctness is there to help us, and I think it will bring out creativity because we've seen plants grow out of rocks. People will get creative, man. Honestly, it's not about. It shouldn't be about blocking people. It's just about helping people. So that's what I.
And about comedy, I think can I just share one thing that I think is very true. There's a French comedian who said, you guys probably know that quote, but you can laugh about everything, but not with everyone. And I think that's a little bit, that's what it is with political correctness. It's like, Edna said it, your audience, you pick your audience and how to interact with this audience, but also you can for example, if I'm a comedian and I'm making a show for women my age who have a similar cultural background as me, there are some jokes that I'm going to make and others that are not going to be appropriate, and it's the same for everyone. But if also I can talk about other groups using offensive terms, regardless of who my audience is, that's great. And I think that's what political correctness helps us to do. So
all right, that was really good.
I think that was really good. I think like me, I got educated right there. I got burned. Some people got canceled from church. A lot of stuff happens. Some people won't be going to church this Sunday, but and my problem. So to wrap it all up, guys, who are out there watching, political correctness is something very important. I've learned myself, even though I'm still listening. We can debate about it the whole day because I got certain points. I can talk about different stories, but we don't have the time. I think it's something very important in this day and age. As Vanessa said earlier on, it was always there, but people just didn't realize it. That kind of way. Because now what I've picked up from here, guys, I think as well because of public, and as you're saying, social media has done a big part about it, because internet in general has done a lot about it, because people can communicate from different parts of the world and empower each other on this point. Before, if it happens here, that's it. That's the end of it. But now, because when it happens, somebody can sit down at home in America, someone can sit at home in England, and they can all come to one and actually enforce an action to happen. So I say it is something very important, and I think everybody should take a look at it and make sure you're not offending the other person, because that's the whole point. If your rights is not to be offended, so I think it's just learning and doing your research and learning and doing the right thing. And that wraps up our show tonight. To all you guys who are out here watching, we appreciate those people down there in the comments. Thanks very much. As we said, we had ourselves, me, OV2 nice, twice as nice with some ice on top. We had Sam up there on the right, and we have MP, and of course, one Tally. Before we wrap it up, guys, big, massive, important part, as we always say, make sure you are subscribing. If you've got friends who haven't subscribed, send them the link, let them subscribe, share, and like, and of course, click that bell. That bell icon, because every time we drop a video, a reaction, or whatever, you get a notification, ping, ping, bada bing, and then you're on it. You know yourself?
Bing bang.
Bing bang.
What's the
name of it?
What's the name of the show?
It's 5Roundz, man. We'll see you guys later. Take it
5Roundz.
Have a great weekend.
See you later.
Have a good weekend, guys.